And Andrew, if you want to take it away.
Can I ask, do I read the thing that I sent into the MEC, to the link tree? Or should I just give an offhand speech?
You can do either. This is your opportunity to introduce yourself to the CYC membership. Let them know a little bit about what led you to running as an SMC co-chair, a little bit about your experience, what would make you qualified for that, and what's your vision for CYC moving forward and for the SMC. So if that's falling into the things that you put on your application, that'd be great. And if there's something else that you would like to add or build off on what you put in your application, that's great.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name's Andrew, and I use the he series pronouns. I am currently a senior at San Jose State University, and I am studying political science. The reason why, and first off, I just want to say thank you to Caesar, Ethan, Joel, and Shamar for their stewardship over the past year. Y'all did an amazing job. And the reason why I am running this year is because I would like to leverage the expertise and the knowledge that I have gained from CYC in administration, in organizing, to better inform how we interact with our members, given the state of the current pandemic. I would like to ensure that we strengthen the chapters and start providing more opportunities and events at that level. As such, I have been involved in the San Mateo County Foster Youth Advisory Board. We have seen about 20 to 25 new members who have interacted with the board. And the funny thing is, CYC was actually the motivation for the creation of the board back in 2014, 2015 in San Mateo County. And what I've learned so far is that it takes a lot of collaboration, stakeholder consultation, and coordination between many different groups in order for us to organize fellow foster youth. And I would like to replicate this process and create some guidelines so that we will be able to do that for all of the chapters and regions, bolstering membership across the entire state. In my first term, I wish to allow for us to start having more healing events. It's been difficult for me personally this past semester. I failed, no, I'm not gonna say that, a glass half full. I passed 3 of 5 of my classes and it was difficult. But this semester I bit off more than I could chew. And it helped me realize that, I can't do everything. But I am focusing on the things that do matter, which is us and organizing fellow foster youth. I'm a dual status youth myself, and having gone through both the foster care and juvenile justice system, not because of only socioeconomic status, but because of real abuse by my parents, it's really helped me sort of see why organizing matters and why it's so important for our community to coalesce around, a set mission, vision, and values. And I've been collaborating with Spark for the last 7 months and the duration of that process, in addition to the MEC for the last year and 4 months. And what I've seen is, how we organize ourselves really dovetails well with what I've learned in my study of political science, which is how distribution of power affects the efficiency and the efficacy of not only an organization, but structures within our society. In my first term, I would like to make sure we continue this rebuilding process. We continue to deepen our commitment to our members. But if I am allowed to be your co-chair, I have very great plans for our organization, not only on the state level, not only on the nationwide level, but also on the global level. I would like to see collaboration with the United Nations and the Office of the High Commissioner on Human Rights in the UN to better inform how youth are treated across the globe. Because we know that trauma, especially in my analysis of the 1970s, colonialism and military intervention by European powers have destabilized many of our countries. We see this in the Philippines. We see this in Cambodia, we see and Laos and Vietnam. We see this in many parts of Africa, and these dependencies on Eurocentric, on these European powers still continues to this day. And I really would like to help to inform on the global level the rights of youth and those that are experiencing rampant human rights abuses against them. But first, the level of analysis I would like to focus on is our chapters and our regions, and making sure that members have, really strong connections there to begin with. And then from there, we will move up. I don't have it all set out yet, and I'll really need to lean on all of y'all's expertise and knowledge to be able to make this vision a reality. But I know we can do it together. But first off, we are going to, in my first term, to strengthen our regions and our chapters, and continue to rope in individuals impacted by both the juvenile justice and foster care system. And in addition to that, collaborate with other nonprofits to ensure that we're bringing youth and allowing for more opportunities to be provided for those impacted by our systems. So yes, that's my speech. Thank you all. And I'm co-running with Jasmine for this position.
Thank you so much for your speech. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic over to Jasmine now, so you can go ahead and just take us off whenever you're ready.
Sorry, 1 second.
Just letting you guys know that I'm dropping a lot of really dope resources in the agenda, so check it out. I'm so excited to hear Jasmine.
Sorry, y'all, would y'all be able to drop the agenda in the chat again, please?
Hi, everybody. My name is Jasmine Harris. I am a longtime CYC member, and I'm very excited to be running for SMC co-chair. So why do I want to be SMC co-chair? I'm ready to take my experience as a longtime CYC member to step into this role. One thing that I really want to do is leverage the experience and kind of structures that we've had in the old CYC or like BC before COVID, while also transitioning kind of what I've been hearing or experiencing, the changes and conversations that's been happening over the past 2 years as a member of MEC, as a member of the COVID task force, policy and ledge committee, and just being a part of the Spark committee and being able to participate and hear from members and see how COVID has affected us and kind of allowed us to dream bigger. So with that being said, again, I want to be able to take my old experience and leverage that while also bringing in new ideas and new changes. And so part of my past experience at CYC that I feel like will make me a good candidate in this position is that I've been able to serve on the policy committee. I've done about 3 terms on policy committee. I've done a term on legislative committee as well as a term on the combined committee. I served on the No Stigma and No Barriers Mental Health Board, which was a board that came out of specific grant funding that we've had. I'm currently on the member executive commission where I serve on the conflict resolution committee, a former member of the finance committee, hiring committee, and a few others. I participated in the Bay Area Youth Leadership Academy as a trainer, an intern, and then also as a facilitator. So I was able to help develop curriculum and be passed the torch. I also have been a conference facilitator and a facilitator for internal things within CYC, as well as external conferences. And then I have been a local chapter member in the Northern region, as well as the Bay Area region. So I have not been a co-chair before, but I think it's time for me to give it a try. So what are my goals? I think there's 3 areas that I want to focus on as a co-chair: community building, consistency, and communication. And so when I talk about community, I want to see everybody on the same page. I want to have opportunities for everybody to engage at the levels that they can engage in and feel comfortable with. And I want to celebrate the small success, bring back the Brownie Parents Awards. I want to give a few, we got, Kate had a birthday this week, Juan graduated this week. Like, there's all kinds of great stuff happening all around us, and we are a community and a family, and I want to kind of bring that back. I think there's been a lot of disconnect in the virtual world, and I want to try to help build that gap as we do go into person, or as we stay virtual, as we get hybrid and get creative. I want to make sure that community is in the center of all that. The next piece is consistency. I think part of that community is being able to connect and know where that is, right? CYC is amazing because it's always there when you need it. And so part of that is consistency. One thing I propose is bringing back the quarterly SMC meeting that is scheduled at the beginning of the year, so that the 4th meeting of the year at the beginning of the year. It's on your calendar. No birthday parties that weekend, what's going on. And again, that's a minimum of 4 meetings, but again, having that schedule, having that consistent communication, having a plan for that, I think can really help us be on the same page and just kind of know what's going on, right? Feel a little comfortable in knowing what's going to happen or know what's going on. And then lastly, I think a part of knowing what's going on and building community and all that other sharing great ideas is communication. And so again, thinking about how I can get creative and we can get creative with communication. So really communication between members, the language that we're using around certain things that are happening within the organization, community updates, member and staff communication, decision-making communication, and staff changes, and more. And actually I want to speak to that last staff changes one. I've been a huge advocate for that. I know that there's legal ramifications, but just knowing that in my space and as an advocate within CYC, I'm somebody who has been able to go into some of these spaces that members aren't in, or been able to kind of hold ground and try to figure out and really push back and kind of find ways that as an organization we can grow. And so just going to get into, and I don't know my time, so if somebody wants to time check me, just definitely let me know. Community, what that looks like again is creating structures and opportunities for members to get engaged. And so some examples I've said is, scheduling statewide membership, this SMC meetings ahead of time. A huge goal for mine is creating opportunities for members to facilitate throughout this process. Jordan, I love you. You're awesome, but I don't want to hear you give the ledge updates. I want to hear from members on the committee. I want to know my committee members and hear from them. And so that's going to be a huge goal of mine as the SMC co-chair. Another piece of that is more internal trainings, workshops, and office hours. So what does getting more facilitation look like for members? It looks like getting them the training to feel comfortable to facilitate. So training for trainers shouldn't be, only when conference is coming, only for conference facilitators. We have members in the local region who are going out and doing trainings all the time. We have YTP trainers, workshops. We have so many members who want to learn skills. We're talking about budgets. So how do we have quarterly budget reports so that we can actively be a part of budget processes and actively be making budget requests and know what's going on? Hosting core organizer conversations so that people who are in these decision-making spaces can be connecting with each other so that we can really be having genuine youth-led conversations. And so those, and I've already been in cahoots and conversations with some of the leaders around the org. Syra has already gone out on a limb to commit to doing quarterly budget office hours. And so again, that's something I'm sure she would do for any of the co-chairs, but I just this is something I've been thinking of. This is something I've been working on. This is something I would really like to see happen. Another thing is bringing back regional council meetings. So in the past, after statewide membership council meetings, we would meet as a statewide council, and then if a week or so, few weeks later, the regional council would meet. And so chapters in the region would come together and kind of have a smaller SMC or regional council meeting. And that structure really allowed for regional networking, policy conversations, and training opportunities. And that's something I want to kind of integrate back into CYC, whether it's virtual, hybrid, however. I think that it can help support with chapter growth. I heard that Fresno is starting to meet again or wanting to. And so how can we support with chapter growth? We know that there's, you know, some chapters with only one person. So linking them into regional conversations or regional interactions, and then connecting members with local resources and opportunities, and you know, being able to again have those regional connections. And then lastly, fine-tuning member communication and leadership. Again, just having those conversations with each other. How can members talk to members? I definitely will be continuing some of the work of I know the past co-chairs have been working on, looking at Discord and looking at some of those other things and other tools that we have been using. The next thing I mentioned is consistency. So I think one thing that will really help us build consistency is scheduling things and having a routine. So I know that staff have been having conversations about what does a CYC year look like? What do we know is going to happen? And one thing that we know is going to happen is statewide membership councils. So how can we make sure that everybody's getting on the agenda, information is getting out ahead of time, people are knowing what's going on. We have, you know, member facilitators here and prepared to talk about the topics that they're working on because we know they're doing the work. And so one proposal is creating a structure and schedule routines like this. And so this is a proposal for the SMC agenda creation. So it would be a 6-week process starting off 6 weeks before SMC. So like 6 weeks prior, we would, you know, get the reach out like, hey guys, 6 weeks till SMC, you know, let's go. And then week 5, we make a round to the meetings and kind of do that in person. Hey, I don't know if you saw our email, but SMC is coming up, and, you know, start to think about what you want to share in that space. You know, the next week we go back and say, hey guys, we came last week and we told you we were coming. Can I get a volunteer who is going to facilitate? And then the next week, okay, we know that Caesar is on policy committee and he said he's going to share back at SMC. So now Caesar, we need you to connect with your policy committee team, committee, help Caesar, like what are his topics? So, you know, then there's that. Week 2, then they, as a committee, as a team, we can support with creating whatever visual aids or extra materials can be collected. We can prep and make sure that Caesar has the information so that he feels comfortable to be at SMC and be the facilitator. And then 1 week before, we have that visual aid, we have that, we can send it out to all the other members so they can get it a week before, and then SMC. And so, you know, this is in a hypothetical world where everything goes smoothly and everybody blah, blah, blah. But again, this is a proposed idea where it's like, again, it's getting more people engaged. It's kind of creating structures. It's creating routine. It's allowing us to practice these professional development skills that we're here to do. And so I think that, you know, trying to get this, and it also can be simplified, right? We know that this is how we do things. So, you know, okay, you know, SMC is going to come the second week of the quarter, or the whatever, like, I don't know the exact how it would line up, but, you know, it's something that like it's a communication, it's a consistency, it's something that's building community. This is like what I'm hoping for throughout my term as CYC, as SMC co-chair. And then a few other proposals I have. I would like to see a workshop Dropbox. And so these could be on social media or on the website, but a workshop Dropbox for like community. We know that community members want to hear from us. So go ahead, put a request in, but then also curriculum development. We know that there's topics that we want to talk about and we want to train on, and we maybe aren't talking about it. And so like, let's kind of create a space for that, those, and maybe Dropbox isn't the right word. You know, you've heard the term parking lot or community garden. Like, how do we have like a public space or a space where everybody can access it as needed? Same thing goes for policy recommendations. I can't tell you as a longtime member, how many people have told me great ideas for like, oh, Medi-Cal should work like this, or they should do things like this. And I'm like, whoa, I'm at CYC. This is a great policy recommendation. What do I do with it, right? Like, I can't take it to, like, maybe yeah, I could take it to Jordan, but you know, he's in the middle, or Michaela, but she's in the middle of like a policy year and it's not really the best time. And so like a place where we can write down all our ideas, we can share these as a community, we could talk about these things more, right? We can chew on these topics. The next goal would be, our next proposal would be a conflict resolution / restorative justice Dropbox. I know that this has been like a long time, or something it's kind of been around but hasn't been around, but some kind of way to request like community circles, you know, healing circles, intentional pauses, intentional like moments of pieces or mediation. We are a community, and sometimes that means calling community together. So how do we do that? And how does everybody have access to call? It shouldn't just be staff say, hey, we're gonna have a circle. Like if a member wants a circle, a member should be able to like ring the circle bell, and we gather around. And then lastly, a question drop box. I want everybody to be on the same page. I want people to be able to communicate and know what's going on. So if you have a question, you don't feel like you know where to go or whatever, a place where it can go. And, same thing. Somebody's going to get back to you because, that's how we do things here. And I don't know why my proposals were in the middle of my presentation about community consistency and communications, but getting back to communications, some communication proposals would be a communications committee. I know that there is funding for communication. So how can we utilize the funding that we have available as members, and how can we put to work some of the goals that we have? Social media creation, content creation, member outreach, and more. So utilizing the skills and the tools that we've been creating over the past few years, newsletters, TikToks, IG, Facebook. Shout out to the current SMC co-chairs for the Discord, hosting things like weekly Discord conversations, so that again, a place of structure, and we can create these things as a piece where people know that it's actually happening and moving, pushing out policy and legwork so that everybody knows what's going on. Grant communications, finding ways for that members can be more part of applying for grants, keeping grants going, finding dollars, choosing what we're doing with the dollars, right? And so, pieces of what that looks like. Member to member communication, staff to member communication, and then member to community communication. And so how can we as members take control of some of these chains of communication? I know I'm coming up on my time.
Yeah.
And
one more minute.
That's why that was my last slide. And this was a draft that failed. So, full transparency over here. It's communicating. And then
you were just
I don't
too
know if we have time
perfect.
for questions or comments or concerns, but I'm definitely open to that. So again, passing it to whoever's in charge of time.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
were just
for
too
that.
perfect. The slide just came out.
Yeah, thank you. That was very informative and very detailed too. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic over to Caesar. So whenever you're ready, you can start us off.
Thank you very much for that. And well, I'd like to say that those two really great speeches. Lots to compete against now. But yeah, my name is Caesar Sosa. I'm fairly sure you're all well aware of, and I am your current SMC co-chair. And I would just like to discuss on like certain aspects that helped me grow while I was here, and why I still want to be a co-chair, and why I think that this would be very useful. When I first joined as a co-chair, I had all these experiences. I was at DAC, and I was like really empowering, and I was like, wow, I really want to do more, and I just kept going and going. And when it finally came to be when I finally got told like, oh yes, you should be a co-chair, and I was like, I'm up for it. I'm just going to check it out, and I did it, and I was actually fairly intimidated after I got elected, and I went we had a retreat, and then on the walls when we went into the room, there was just long sheets of paper about all the information we're going to need. And so the first just few months of me being a co-chair was just me just getting all this information, just meeting people. And it was a bit overwhelming, but at the same time, it was so fun and enjoyable. I got to learn so much about all the chapters and how to help them, and just all this information, meeting with people. And now that I feel like after the first quarter of being a co-chair was just me learning, then the rest was just me implementing and me doing what we're trying to do. And I'm pretty sure Kate's tired of it, but that whole time I was in there, I was like, let's do stuff in person, because I really wanted to push for that. And we were really scared that we'll have members leave online, but then with all the information that we were using, we're trying to really reach out to people. We didn't shrink due to being virtual. And I want to think that's in part of the fact that we just kept hammering every week at the newsletter. We made a podcast, trying to like invite members to go talk, give their give what they give, like, so that they can actually have a voice and everyone else can listen. Shamar was really great on making a Discord, and we all just came together, we added on there. And that way that's a platform that members can sustain and help one another. One goal that, I'm currently still working on is just trying to get the board and the members to have easy and smooth communication. Because with that, I don't want there to be a disconnect between we're the members right here and there's the board over here. And like, sure, I'm the SMC co-chair and I talk between them two, but I want to bring them together. And so like they're not some big shots that we have to be scared of. And like, no, they're part of CYC. They're part of the family, And so it's been a little rough trying to get scheduling together, but we're trying to bridge that gap where, we can talk to them. And if a member that joined CYC has questions, it's okay to go to the board and just say, hey, what's this and this? We want to talk, we do want you to talk to the members as well. But like, there's not really I don't want there to be a gap there. And I really enjoy this about CYC is just like the staff and member interaction. And that is, just throughout all of youth and, with school and such, there always feels like there's a condescending, like, all right, you're under me and like, I'll teach you and such. And, especially being at the foster youth, like, you'll get help, but it's like Jordan once says, like, it was a lot of it was like pity. And I didn't like feeling that. But when you go to CYC and you talk to the staff or the members, you don't have to explain your situation. And it's not pity. They see you as another human being. And to me, that felt really powerful. And I want to be here and just assist as much as I can. But at the same time, being a co-chair is a serious position. We also want to make it like fun for the members. And so I don't know if you saw, but we come up with some skits. If you saw the skit for the, to try to be SMC co-chair, we kicked Joel in the pool. And so it's always a fun one, trying to keep it lively. And we're especially trying to think outside the box with like the comics. That's something I could have never thought of, but I couldn't do that without Joel. And so that was really helpful. And then we saw an influx of people on the newsletter. And I'm really proud to say that as we were hammering away at that newsletter, really trying to make sure it gets out, we had around 70% of people signed up opening it. And as I went to meet with other organizations, 70% is unheard of. That is like a lot of other organizations have trouble getting 30%. So the fact that we could get 70% of our members to open our newsletter eagerly and read through it or listen to it, that made me feel like what we're doing is working. And another thing that Jasmine was talking about was information about, information, trying to get it out there. We have been working on that a lot. And actually we've been with the help of Miguel and Kate, we've been doing tech centers. And so we're trying to find a way of like, how can we efficiently get members to join, but at the same time, like make it as easy for them as possible. So like, all right, if we send an email, there's some members that, they might not actively check their emails. So that's a little hard. If we make an app, then members are going to be a little discouraged. Like, oh, I don't know if I want another app on my phone. This tech center is like, you do it and you say, yes, I want to be a part of it. No, don't want to be part of it. You want to opt out, you just click no. And then you get all this information. We'll tell you this event's happening this time. And then we'll also put, and when an event's going to happen, it's like, hi, it's 10 minutes from the event, make sure to join. And so, and then we're seeing more influx on members joining, and that is really great. And that's exactly what we are going for. And I am really, if you do elect me again, I'm going to try to push firmly to go back in person, because it's nice to go back together, with family and just see each other's faces again and have that interaction. I still love the moment when Shamar first had his in-person event after, being a year and a half into CYC and like not really ever having a person event. He looked over and was like, who is that buff man over there? What muscular person is that? Oh, that's Kenny. I've seen Kenny like every day of the week. Why is he so muscular? And then he's like, that's just how he's always been. You just don't see much past like the shoulder, like the collarbone lining up. And it was just hilarious. And, then we saw this interaction of just, coming together, having tacos. And I really want to push for that family interaction, but just as well of also getting like the youth and all of their voices advocated for. So now that I've had a year as a co-chair, I feel like this year was me, doing what I can and really learning and absorbing. And now if I am reelected, I feel like I can just go at it, running and use all the information I gathered in this year and really make a change. Does anyone have any questions? If not, then I will be passing it on to the other, to Joel and Shamar. They're doing it partnered for their speeches. Right, I guess I'll pass it on to Joel for his speech.
Sorry, hold on. I believe Juan's next.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Juan, I'll pass it on to Juan.
Hi. So I can't put my video on because my internet is shoddy, and so you either get one or the other. So I hope you like the view of Tenochtitlan before the Spanish. So I am fairly new here. I have been a part of CYC for 6 months, so and I am part of the member executive commission, and so what I am running for is to kind of see it expand, CYC expand, and start inviting, or not inviting, but like reaching out to more and more people, because I really felt like this is such a great organization, and I wish I had known about it since high school. And so I think that's one of the things I would like make one of my main goals is to have a greater like reach out program to start informing more and more communities about CYC, because I feel like this organization deserves to be one of the main organizations in California, in the nation, and I would love to be a part of that. I would also like to have multiple partnerships. I love the idea of going with other nonprofits as well, but I would also like to partnership with with the Guardian Scholar programs in the CSU system. That is such a big pull right there that's directly involved with foster youth and former foster youth. So I would just love to see us not only work hard, but work smart as well. So like I just said, we can reach out and try to spread out everywhere. But if we go directly to where we know our target audience is, then we can be affecting more people effectively. So, and I would also like to help build up this community as well. I would like to, I don't know, help to create a system that fosters better community and communication amongst one another. And yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about Jasmine's presentation. I'm like, how do I follow up after that? But yeah, and so, and another thing about me, I have a hard time processing a few things as well. So when it comes to like major things, if I would also be a good kind of gauge, so that if I understand it, then there's a good chance that most people will understand it as well. So that is why I'm running for SMC chair, because I would like to have better communication amongst everybody, so that everybody is able to understand each other and what we're doing.
And that's my spiel.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm so sorry. I'm just really tired from yesterday.
No worries, no worries. That was a great one.
Yeah, no, yesterday I graduated, so it's just oh, and that's also another thing. I have much greater bandwidth at this moment. I am done with school, so I would have a lot of time on my hands.
No, you're all good. You did really good. And now I'm gonna pass it on to Joel and Shamar now.
Hi. So me and Shamar is going as a group. So I'll be going first, and then after me will be Shamar. Just want to thank you all for coming in today. It means a lot. To get out of the way, my name is Joe Calderon. I'm currently one of the co-chairs. My pronouns are he and him, and I'm from Ventura. But before I begin my presentation, I really want to talk about my experience with CYC so far. So 2 years ago, when I went into CYC, it was Caesar and Schmar that brought me into it. I didn't know anything about it. I just knew he was in it. I was first introduced to CYC by virtual. So this whole like online thing was new to me. But even through that, I was to see like a new experience for me. Being in it so far, it brings empowerment, and through that also kind of the importance of the individual. So going to day at the Capitol, I was really learning why CYC is really you have to teach people for the individual and who they are as a person, and it's important to do that with empowerment. You get that through CYC. So if I run again, I really want to implement that more through communications and through like content creation. Definitely through a lot of different methods, like how Caesar was saying, we're just going to keep going at it. Definitely the one things I really want to see is sorry, my notes. It's more virtual, more hybrid meetings. At the moment, we're currently doing virtual, but if we do hybrids more, I definitely feel like we get that experience of CYC for reals, and even meeting up in person. Yeah, that's it. I'll pass this to Shmar.
Thank you, Joel. Yeah, so I'm running again because I wish to continue my work with communication with the members and organization. Um, during our last term, Joel had made quite a few comics, and I would help him with that, with brainstorming or just some of the character building or idea making. And those comics led to new record statistics of newsletter engagement. Like Caesar said, I do believe it was like 60 to 70% more clicks. In addition to that, I would like to I would create more content such as flyers or Instagram posts to ensure
Hey,
that
Shmar, you're up.
You can go ahead. You can go ahead, Shamar. I think Joel had a lag.
oh, okay. Where was I? Yeah, in addition to that, I would create content such as flyers or Instagram posts to ensure that you guys are getting the information as soon as we get it. I also implemented the Discord server to help keep each other in contact and help members bond more. Lastly, I just wanted to make sure that members get our notifications, so that we decided to make the texting service, like Caesar also mentioned. Through the texting service, we are able to get a more quicker feedback of whether or not, we can look forward to see how many people are interested in a particular event, and we can get a just a quick head count of how many people to expect and so on and so forth. I do wish to see us back in person, so this year I would try to have at least two meetings and or events to be in person. I believe that we need to bond together as an organization, that there's more emotion and passion when we meet in person versus on screen. The last rally for AB 2417 was pretty fun. I got the chance to see some of you for the first time and others for the first time in a long time. So we made posters, we ate food, made chants, buttons, and so much more. That's just something that can't effectively be captured on Zoom. Lastly, I wish to fundraise for the SMC. Being in person will require a bit more money. So to do that, to counter that, we could fundraise. We can use the leftover money for different projects, or even use the money to give back to our communities. During our last rally, many people who passed by, gave a lot of compliments to Joel's little drawings. People are saying how they're cute little buttons, and they just often reminded them of NFTs. So I was thinking we can turn some of Joel's art into NFTs and maybe use them for CYC. And with that being said, I'll pass it to whoever's next.
I think you two were the last members. Anyone have any questions for Joel or Shamar?
It looks like Jasmine has a hand up.
Yeah, I definitely would be curious. Like, I don't know, I want to collaborate is my thing. Like, I think that a lot of people, like, I hear some of the communication stuff coming up, and I'm like trying to get more people involved with it. And so I think like my ask is like, whether I'm elected or not, I want to volunteer. Like, I want to just like say, I just want to network with you is like what I'm saying. So that's my question is like, can I be your friend, your CYC friend?
Of course. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone here at CYC is, friends and family. So we come to each other, for work needs, we come to each other for non-work needs. So feel free to do that for me as well.
Yeah, and Jasmine, we've been working so much on communication. Just the fact that you brought up that you were also willing to like go more into it, I thought that like, oh, great, more people are interested.
Yeah, I'm definitely ready. Like, I want to see a team and like, yeah, maybe representatives from committees or something. I have a lot of ideas, and it sounds like a lot of people do. So it's like, again, this is a thing. This is like where our core organizers having these conversations. And so again, that's another conversation I want to try to bring up is like, leaders we need a space to lead together. And yeah, I'm really excited. I just want to say great job, everybody.
I'm going to echo that great job, and Ethan, turn it back to you to talk about what happens next.
Thank you so much, everybody. Yeah, so moving forward, so I'm just gonna briefly go into like how the elections are gonna work. So we're gonna be using a platform called Election Runner. All members will have 1 week to vote. The voting is gonna start today at 2 p.m. and it's gonna be closing on May 28th. So during this week, just try to take some time to put your votes in before it closes, so that way we can count your vote. And then you'll receive an email to whatever email you used on your CYC member form. It'll have a link that takes you to the page to vote. If your email is out of date or you don't receive an email, let a CYC staff member know, and they'll make sure an invite gets sent to their correct email. And we're going to be using ranked choice voting. You'll be asked to put the candidates in your order of preference. There's going to be a linked video too for more information. And if you have any questions, reach out to myself or Kate.
Awesome. And just wow. Okay. And Shamar, one last campaign promise. And so if anybody has any questions about the election process, please do feel free to reach out. This is a new process for us, so we're going to try to make it go as smoothly as possible, and know that there could be hiccups along the way. So just want to make sure, give me a call, text me, email me, and if you don't have my info, I will drop it in the chat. And I think with that, we're going to stop recording, but thank you so much.